Hey fellas, welcome back to Campaign for North Africa. So I am gonna do a little battle here. So what we have is there was some intel that said that there was British forces in two different towns. So we have infantry on this one with some armor units. And we have an infantry battalion with some artillery. The 15th Panzer Division was actually stationed here. And what we're going to do is we're going to break off two units to go take care of them. So what do we want to do here? I can take this whole regiment counter, or I can break up these two divisions. I can take these two divisions and break them up and put them with something. So what I'm going to do, let's make it interesting. What we're going to do is we're going to take two battalions from here, and I'm going to give these battalions each armor support, and I'm also going to allow them to have artillery support. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. So we're going to say, let's do this. Let me get you up here so it's clearer for you guys to see. So I'm going to break this out. Okay, so each battle group, we'll call it, will go after one location. So what I did was I brought in the 140, so we'll put it like this. And that's how I'll break it up. As you can see here, this is what I'm working with. And these are the units, the guns. These are the tanks that'll be coming in as support. So let's go to work and see what we can do here. It'll probably take me, it'll take me 2 turns, so what I should do is, let's get them closer actually. I need to put them somewhere here. So let's do that. Let's move everything out of the way. Let's pretend a couple of turns passed. And these units, by the way, stacking is 5 stacking points to a hex. Certain hexes require less. So we'll do this. This is the reason why I use also entire divisions, because a division is 5 stacking points. However, if you take all these units out of the division, as you can see, this is 1 stacking point, this is 1, this is 1. So right now it's the 6 stacking points. You still have all these outside of this, right? So all these put you over 5 stacking points. By having them in the division form in this counter, it shows just organization. So let's put this unit here. And we'll start it like this. So, like I said, we have 2 units what I'll do is I'll break off a unit and go, let's do that. That's what was the plan in the first place, actually. And so, there you go. The plan was to split up 2 units, one to interact with this one to interact with that one. And let's see how this fares out. We have a battalion, like I said, of infantry units. We have some armor support, and we have artillery against armor and battalion. And they're sitting in rough in a village. Let's see how this fares out on this. I just need to look at the terrain cost to get there. I'll be right back. I'm just getting out my book. Just want to see what rough costs. Rough. All right, rough cost 3 for leg and 4 for motorized. All right, let's see here. So we're gonna go, but we're on a track, so that halves the terrain cost. So this will cost 1, 2, 2 again is 4, not 1.5 I meant. So this is 1, 2, and 1.5 and 1.5 is 3, so this is 5 to here. So this costs 5 for them. Next up, 1, 2, and this cost me 2, that's 6. Another 2 is 8, so that's 8 for them. And last is also going to be 8. Now these guys, we're done with movement. These guys decide to, they could have reacted before. Actually, they can't react, I guess, against a battalion. There's a certain size you're able to react from. And see, I gotta get back into the rules. But right now we want to do battle, so we're gonna stay. So right now we're gonna do artillery. They have no artillery. We do. So this is our group. So we have the 140. Let's see what we have. We're gonna put them all forward. Actually, we're gonna keep them back because I don't have to combine it with anyone else. So we're gonna keep those back. And it is, this comes out to 45 barrage points. Divide that by 10, that's gonna give 4.5. That means I round up to a 5. So we have a 5. Let me get out my books. Should have been more prepared. All right. Let's roll. We're going after the infantry. We're going to try to pin the infantry. So we're sitting on the 5. However, they're in rough. Rough is going to affect our barrage. So they get a shift to the left for that. And so what I'm looking at, so you can see, so we're in rough here. It's 1 shift to the left in the favor of the defender. Anti-armor, as you can see, is going to be 1 shift also, and it's going to be 2 shifts for close assault. All right. We roll 52. It's a pin. So we pin that unit. So that unit is pinned, can't do anything. Pin marker for him. guess I don't have one available. Found it. All right, so this unit is pinned. Now we go into anti-armor phase, where tanks can fire at each other and also anti-tank weapons can fire. So we both have tanks. They have Matildas, they have 10 of them. Now they're going to decide first, we're going to decide how many go into close assault of these units and how many will do anti-armor. I'm going to put these all in close assault, of course, because they can't do armor. And there's some tanks I'm going to put in close assault, the rest of them I'm going to put into anti-armor fire. Here, these guys are pinned, so if I don't put anyone in close assault with this stack, then when we get to close assault phase, they have to retreat 3 hexes away because nobody was put into close assault. It would happen, if we didn't go into close assault, we would have to do the same. If we both didn't go into close assault, it just stays right there and ends at the anti-armor phase. So what we're gonna do is we have 10 TOE of Matildas. We'll do 5 of them. That's gonna go anti-tank, and the other 5 will go into close assault. So let me set that up. So we got 5 and 5. Here's close assault, and here's some of close assault, and the rest, let's see. That's the 1/8. So we'll put the Panzer IIs in close assault. They have 4. And the rest will go into firing anti-armor. So I have 2, not 2. We have 8 Panzer IIIH, and we have 2 Panzer IV's. And then this is the 104. And they're all gonna be close assault. All right, so this is what we're doing here. So you can see, get you out of the glare. So this is the unit here that we're using, the 1/8. So the Panzer IIs, they don't have the firepower against the Matilda, so we're not even wasting our time. So we put them in close assault. The Panzer IIIs can penetrate, so we have 8 of them. So we put 8 into anti-armor. And the Panzer IV's, we have 2 of them, and we put it there. Actually, like I said, each TOE represents about 4 to 5 tanks. So we have 8 to 10 tanks. That's what that represents. So yeah, and then this here is actually the 104. So it's only this one. It's not that one. It's only this battalion. So let me erase that. So this is the only one going in with 7. So that's about 700 men going in. So let me fix that. Okay. All right, so let's add up our anti-armor. So for the Germans, we have 8 times 4 is 32, and then we have another 2 times, what is that? 2 times 6 is 12, so that is 44. So we have 44 anti-armor factors. Divide that by 10 is 4.4, rounded down to a 4. So let's fire at them, and then we'll add up theirs. Oh, so we're on the 4 column. Let's bring you over here. We're here. However, we're in rough, so it drops it down by 1. We need a 6 to do any damage to them, because their armor factors, their armor protection, I meant, is a 6. So if we don't get that, it's useless. Oh, let me tell you, white dice is the 10th. 56. So 56 is going to be, what is this? A 7. All right, so we took out a TOE of Matilda's. However, this is simultaneous, so they get to fire back. But I will mark a loss. Now they're coming in with 5. So they have 5 Matildas that are coming in, and their anti-armor is 3. So 5 times 3 is 15. That's 1.5 rounded up to a 2. So they have 2 that's going to be firing at us. It is unclear in the rules, I know we played it online, that both parties get the terrain effect against them. I'm not going to do it now, but I have to go back and find that. Because if you're both firing in rough, both parties get the penalty against them. So there should be a shift against them as well. However, I'm going to leave it for now, and I'll do it next time. So they're on the 2 column, which is going to be here. And again, white dice is 10, 63. So the Matildas fire, and they get a 6. So they get a 6. Now let's take a look at the units. They're in close assault, so they're subjected to getting hit by by anti-armor fire. They're coming in. Here are their armor factors. Armor protection, I meant. This one's a 2, this is a 3, this is a 3. I gotta satisfy 6, so I can take away 2 from here. I can take away 3 from here, from the Panzer 2s, or I can take away 2 from here as well. The thing about this is that the opponent, meaning myself, gets to choose which one takes it. One of my games I'm going to start playing is that the person that's firing, gets to say, I'm firing at X tanks, meaning which tanks you're going to fire at. Because we do the same with the artillery. So I like to add that little mix into this game. It's detailed enough. So next time I like to say, if I was firing at Matildas, I'm firing at your Panzer 3s, or I'm firing at your Panzer 4Es. And that way, you don't leave it to the opponent to just take the weaker tanks automatically. They have to take it from the stronger ones. But we'll see how that plays out. Maybe it doesn't work in this system. We don't know. I don't know. However, so what I'm going to do is we'll take from here. So we'll take 3. Actually, I'll take from here 2. And that satisfies the 6. And that way I can still come in with this with close assault. So, and then what you do is you put out destroy tank markers. And if I can find them, think I had any clipped. Yes, I didn't clip them. And I'm not going to go back clipping them now. Yeah. All right. But you'll put down broken tank markers, destroyed tank markers that are placed there. Now your opponent or yourselves can pick those up and take them back to repair. But that's what it is. Okay, so now we're done with this. And by the way, before we did anti-armor attack, I don't know if I went over this, the defender gets to do retreat before assault. The problem would have been is that the armor could have retreated, but since this unit was pinned, it would have to stay there during that phase if you would have chose to do retreat before assault. So they're fighting it out. They lost 1 TOE, which is about 4 to 5 tanks, and they lost. They lost actually 2 TOE of tanks, so they lost 8 to 10. So now let's get into close assault. My close assault number is going to be, this is 14 coming from here, and this is 14 coming from there as well. It's for 28. Rounded up, we'll have a 3. So we have 3 coming in, and they are just the tanks, the Matildas. Matildas, close assault, they have 5 times 4 is a 20. So they have 2. So we have a 3, they have a 2. So if we go to this, we're +1 over them. So we are +1 over them because we have a 3, they have a 2. Terrain, they're going to get 2 in their favor. 1, 2. Next up is morale. Their morale is, for the Matilda, is a 0. The Germans is a 2. So the Germans get 2 back. So we're back on the +1. Size, you look at the biggest unit in the hex. You don't add all them up against each other. You look at the biggest unit. The biggest unit is a 1-step. It's a 1-step. So it's even. If I would have had this in the hex, let's just say, it's a 2-step, as you can see here, against a 1-step. And that would give me a shift in the attacker's favor. So the size of your unit weighs a lot in this game. So you going in with just a measly battalion against a regiment or 2 regiments, well, not 2 regiments, a division, really will destroy something like this, which it should. But going back to size again, so there's no shift for that. We check our raw firepower. I said we were 30 and they were 28. I mean, they were 20 and we were 30, so nothing there. Actually, we were 28 and they were 20. So that we're not doubled over them. So there's not going to be a shift. And the last is, cohesion roll, to see if my morale, his morale went down. So let's check that. I have to roll a 65, over a 65, both of us, to have something happen negative to, or 11 for it to move up by 1 on morale. I doubt that's going to happen, but let's see. Nope. and no. So again, we did terrain. We checked size. We checked double our firepower. And yeah, that's about it. There is one thing that's going to happen, by the way. Their value, actually, I just remember, is going to be less. The reason why I did not combine arms, they're just going in with tanks by itself. For every TOE points between 1 and 3 that is not infantry to support that, their value goes down by 1. So they're coming in with 5. So they're going to lose 1 value. So their 2 actually goes to a 1. So it's 3 to 1 against them. So that means we get another shift in our favor for that, because they didn't come in with combined arms. All right, so that is everything that we need to go through. Let's roll the dice. Just trying to see if there's anything I'm missing. We did the shifts. And there's no dice modifiers, so let's go. 24. That's not good for the Germans. I think that's about 10. Yeah, so the Germans are going to lose 10%. Fifth, 14. So 14. %. Okay. So here's what we have. Let's start with the Germans. The Germans had 28 raw power. You take 15% of that. No, we were 10%, right? So that's 2.8. As being the attacker, you round up to a 3. So we have to satisfy 3. So let's look at that. Let's just do the Germans first, get them out of the way. So the Germans here brought these guys and these guys. If we look here, their close assault attack is 2. So we look at that. We have to resolve 3. So we have to lose 2 TOE from that battalion, or we can lose 1 from there, and we can lose 1 Panzer 2. So what we'll do is we'll lose 1 Panzer 2, and we'll lose 1 and we satisfy that loss. Now, our guns were back. If our guns would have been forward, you take that result, which is 3 that we got, you have it rounded up, 3 half, 1.5 to a 2, and you would have to lose a gun to satisfy that 2. And what you do is you look at their vulnerability. The gun I was using, I believe was this one, the 140. So we will look at their vulnerability is 11, and I would have to satisfy that by losing 1. Next up is the British. The British now had 20 raw firepower that came in. However, they have to now also add the unit that got pinned. So their 6 times 2 is 12. So it's 12 and 20 is 32. So it's 15% of 32. And that's how you do the calculation. It's 15, 16, 2, 3, so that's 4.80. Since it's not an overrun, you round down. So it's 4.80, it's 4. So they have to satisfy 4. If it was an overrun, it would have went up to a 5. So let's look at how they're going to satisfy 4. Let me bring this over. So it was this unit here. Their defense is 2. So I can lose 2 TOE to satisfy the 4, because 2 times 2 is 4. Or, whereas the Matildas are here, so I had 5 going in, I can lose 1 Matilda to satisfy that 4. Depends on how you see it. So what we'll do is we'll lose 2, not that one, it's this one actually. So we'll lose 2 of the Scots Guard. So they lost 200 men in that battle. And I forgot to look, by the way. I rolled a 14. I forgot to add up the numbers, by the way. I gotta always remember this. So we were here. So a 14 is 1 and 4 is a 5. So 5 to 7 is 1 retreat. So you always add the numbers together after you roll this. See, this was 14, but then you have to add the numbers to get the results down here. Same thing with the attacker, you get results here. Mine was 24, which is a 6. 9 to 12, so nothing on that. It would have said engaged. So they were here. With the retreat and the pin, they can retreat. So retreat 1 hex. So we're able to move into that village and take it, the objective. And so the objective was successful. This was, which I would write down. That is what we spent on moving, and this is what it costs us to do a combat. So the infantry spent 10 CPs. Actually, we spent more because as soon as you advance, it costs you again. So for infantry, that costs us another 1.5 to get in there. So any movement you do costs you CP costs you CP allowance. These guys moved out. Their combat only cost them 3 CP. And they had to pay 1 CP for movement. So they already expended 4 CP. Their turn comes now. That still stays with them. And so they will do whatever they need to do. If you're adjacent to me, they have to attack. If not, they got to break away and exert 2 CPs to get away and try to get to a better position if they don't want to fight anymore. But they take this with them, this amount. So they're already starting in a negative on their CP value. I can continue attacking them during our turn. I don't have to give up yet. I can say, you know what, I'm going to continue and keep fighting. I can say I'm going to leave the infantry to not fight, and I'll just go in with tanks against these units and fight with the artillery now. As long as I have the ammo, as long as I have the fuel, As long as my cohesion level is not too high, I'll continue banging away. I know we had an online game, and one of my co-partners, they had a battle. Actually, it was in this area. They had a huge battle, and he had plenty of ammo, and he just kept bashing away at the British until he wore them down. And then he brought other units around and did the same. So, like if they moved here, since you have to be, by the way, you have to be within 2 hexes to continue movement and combat. So if these guys were, let's say, here, we can't now move and do combat because we're too far away. We're 3 away from him. They have to be within 2 for you to continue. So that's an important thing to know. But yes, I think, when you do this off camera, not talking into the camera, and you do it more and more, you can really blow through these quickly. Especially that I put these counters down. I can just slap them down, and I can really put it together and roll and figure out what I need to do. And then I'll just add them in later on. And yeah, I want to keep doing this, like I said before in the other video, where this is like drinking water. All right, fellas, hope that was helpful. And maybe next time when I'm on, I'll do a nice battle. Maybe it'll be like a 2-hour video where I'm going through different turns from feeding the units with stores, air combat, and then getting into fighting. I guess I can throw a couple of maps down. I think I'm going to need another table. I'm clearing up my... Let's see here. Yeah, I'm clearing out my area so I can just put more tables like this. Like I have a back area back there I can put 2 others that are, these are 5 by 10s. And I can add here another 2 feet, 3 feet. And another one at the end over there for another. So I can have 16 feet, 16-foot table. And just have different games on each one, which would be very helpful. Upstairs I have about 4 tables that I'm clear, but I really don't want to have my games upstairs. So maybe I'll just do smaller ones up there. But if right now to do something, maybe put 2 maps together here of Campaign for North Africa, and then do a turn from beginning to end so everyone can see how it is done. And plus it makes me talk it out and get used to everything again. But yeah. All right, fellas, until next time.